sample had to be sent to the US for analysis. Until the results came back, the police could only keep David under surveillance in secret, hoping to stop him before he hurt another girl. But after days of non-stop surveillance, even Detective Tom was exhausted. One day he nodded off in the car for just a moment, and David vanished. At the same time, in a wooded area, a girl was being carried up a mountain with her hands and feet tied. After reaching the top, the killer put her on the ground and assaulted her. The next day, her body was found. The condition she was in was so horrific that even the medical examiner threw up on the spot. Just like the earlier victims, she had been left half-dressed, tied up with her limbs bound behind her. The killer had also inserted a pen and a spoon into her lower body. Looking at what had been done to the girl, Tom couldn't hold back his rage anymore. He stormed off to find David, dragged him onto the train tracks, pulled out his gun, and tried to force him to confess. Even though David had been beaten until his mouth was covered in blood, he still stared back with a steady look and refused to admit he did it. At that point, Tom clicked off the safety on his gun and got ready to kill the bastard right there. But at the last second, Jack came running over with the DNA report. They thought the report would finally nail David. But when they saw the result, they realized the bodily fluid didn't match David's DNA at all, which meant David might actually not be the killer. But by then, Tom had already snapped. He believed the report had to be wrong because the girl was killed after David disappeared that night. There was no way all of those coincidences could point to the same man. So Tom raised his gun again, ready to shoot, but the more level-headed Jack stopped him. He didn't want David to end up like Mike, the mentally disabled man, and become a scapegoat for the real killer. And from the look in David's eyes, Jack, after years on the job, couldn't tell anymore whether he was guilty or not. As a train roared past, David slowly disappeared into the darkness ahead. And with him, the truth behind this serial rape murder case disappeared too. This was the real Hwaseong serial murder case that happened in South Korea in the 1980s. Even when the film came out in 2003, police still had not caught the killer. It wasn't until 2019, after DNA testing, that police discovered the man serving a life sentence since 1994 for murder, Eric, was actually the same person behind the Hwaseong serial murders. But because those cases had already passed the statute of limitations, Eric was never sentenced to death and remains in prison to this day.